Hello everybody, welcome back. Well, Bitcoin is definitely going for it, and it really wouldn't surprise me if we see an all-time high tonight. But I mean, the main reason I'm making this video is just to say that pretty much anything is possible at this specific level. Like, anything is possible. And it's one of those things with crypto, you know, I notice it with my YouTube channel and my Patreon and things like that, is that when the price is going up and it's at these very significant all-time highs, then it becomes really popular and everybody's watching videos and everybody's in there and everybody's tuning into live streams. But actually, the most important part of any kind of preparation for gains is when things are going down or when they're going down. It's just an observation I thought I'd bring out, is that if you really want to make money, you shouldn't look at the price of the day. You should look at the chart and plan for the price that will be. If that makes sense. I always notice this when the market's down, views are down, but no one subscribes, nobody watches, nobody does anything, and then they miss out on what is obviously today a very important sort of turn of the tables, that is. So as far as I'm concerned, anyway, Bitcoin already made its all-time high because you know me, I trade things based on weekly charts, and weekly charts offer the biggest moves anyway. We closed this week, well, last week, or so yesterday, yesterday morning when the candle was closed at a new all-time high, candle body closure on a weekly. That is the most important aspect of this chart to me. So whether we come up to this level here right now, that's for that's for the moon boys to talk about. I mean, for me, the all-time high is already set, and this is the most important component of this chart. And the second most important, I suppose, and the first most important, is this piece here, which is the conversion baseline that we saw a couple of weeks ago. A conversion baseline above the cloud, Chiku span above price. This is a continuation signal on the long term, and it's proving to be pretty accurate, right? And I would imagine that this will continue. Now, there's a few things we could do to, for the Moon Boys and for those who watch the channel and want to think about price targets. We do a measured move from the breakout, which is here, points to around about $72,500 thereabouts. Very rough measured move. That's likely if we were to get the breakout that we could be pushing up to there, and then we our price discovery, our blue sky breakout could find a bit of turbulence around those zones. But for me personally, I'm not really looking at that as any place to get out. I'd be looking at our old friend, the money flow index, and how extended we are on the weekly. And this is definitely the most important part of the Bitcoin chart I should ever tell anybody to look at. So we got our bubble pop. We have our bubble pop, and we have our not quite bubble pop, but it was a top. It was a very significant top. This area here was driven by the massive alt season in January. So we got our January, I suppose you could call it a bubble pop, and then the alt season that just continued all the way through to April, May, and people taking profit into Bitcoin, like myself, from the hundreds and thousands of % gains that were made. So whether we get something like that again, which to be honest with you, I'd be absolutely loving it if we were to get something like that again, and I'm kind of anticipating that we are, and this is why I'm saying that everybody's staring at Bitcoin now and going, no, we're about to make a new all-time, and then we'll get a breakout and everyone will be like, yeah, buy Bitcoin, Bitcoin's the place to be, and altcoins go down in value, which is again something that I was talking about weeks ago, which is why we should have flipped into a larger Bitcoin position, which is obviously what me and a lot of, I suppose, my Telegram members and Patreon members have been doing, because I've been warning about it, and then wait for the time to reverse that on a large swing trade, right? So there is a chance that you could get that swing trade now, based on the Bitcoin dominance chart, which is over here. This is an opportunity for a rejection, so you get a small swing trade, but we're looking for the larger ones, which is here and here. So this whole situation right now it's like history repeating itself, right? It's exactly how it was back down here, and we're gonna have to zoom in a little closer, get rid of all this noise. This is exactly what it was like around here. This is a weekly chart, okay? So we're thinking about this zone here. So we had our move up to 12, pull back down to 9, and then I break out up to 20, and then from 20 we just rallied, right? So this is mainly from the areas of September to that area that we just pointed out, the bubble pop, based on money flow index and other toppy signals, and then the alt season began. All people were talking about was buy more Bitcoin, 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 and then the disbelief, they couldn't believe it when Bitcoin was going down, and then they were saying, don't buy alts, they're wrecked. Well, actually, no. That's where you're wrong, and this is what I'm trying to explain to people. So obviously my channel is not the biggest channel in the world, and it doesn't get an enormous amount of views, and when price action goes down it gets less views, which is, like I say, I understand why that might be, but it's the wrong thing to do. I'm not saying that I'm telling you what's definitely going to happen. I don't have a crystal ball, but you know, I've got a handle on the charts generally, and this is how I make my money. But you know, when we see wrecked charts, this is where opportunities lay, right? And we look at stuff like this, and we could look at it and go, what a terrible looking chart. And it is a terrible looking chart. This is just an example. I'm not saying buy XVG or anything like that, but what I'm saying is you will get the same kind of sentiment coming on now, which again is a little too late for those who were in altcoins going altcoin crazy a month ago. That's where I was flipping my altcoin position into Bitcoin because of the Bitcoin dominance, proving to find a support and then gaining traction above the 200 above the 20 moving average, and also we saw a positive, a horizontal and now a positive, and then reclaiming the 20 weekly on the Bitcoin dominance. So again, you know, you got to get in at the moves before the moves happen, and then you can celebrate in days like today where, you know, everything's going up. Well, Bitcoin's going up anyway, and you are the one with the larger Bitcoin position because you saw the move prior to it happening. Now what we should be thinking of is obviously enjoying the Bitcoin gains, loving them, and expecting more from them, and then wait for the ultimate reversal from Bitcoin into altcoins, which might signify the absolute bubble pop of the market. And it could, right? The market is obviously a bubble anyway. We all know that. We've seen what happens. I mean, this chart, the total market cap, explains how much of a bubble the whole thing is in the first place. In the space of a 2-week period, a 53, almost 54% crash of market cap of an entire asset class. The whole thing is a bit of a bubble, let's face it, but that's why we like it, you know, because we make money out of these highly speculative cryptocurrencies, and we absolutely love it because that's the beauty of it, right? You've got to obviously recognize what it is, and I don't want to scare people away. But it is a bubble. The whole thing is a bubble, and it will pop again. Of course it will. But whether it pops, you know, tomorrow or next year, you know, that's the fun, I suppose, of trading within a giant bubble. Right? Really, always been on your toes. So if we look at the total market cap while we're here, we do have a nice cup in handle, which would suggest a breakout of market cap anyway. So this doesn't say exactly how far or where it's going to go, but it does look like a bullish chart, similar to Bitcoin, probably more bullish in a way. Conversion baseline above the cloud, cheeky span above the price action, and the cup in handle. Very much a bullish chart, which suggests further upside of the overall market. But you know, that said, you know, it will again do something like this. This will happen again. Of course it will. So we always have to be on our toes. So what I'm trying to say is, right this very moment with Bitcoin pumping, probably going up to its all-time high, as in, you know, its wick high. Yeah, it could easily happen. Like by the time this video's, you know, uploaded easily, and it could also dump a little bit as well before, you know, when this video's uploaded, of course. The idea is that everything on here looks like a long-term continuation based on a weekly, which could take weeks or months for it to play out in its entirety. But the next thing we should be thinking about, and again, this is what I'm trying to say, is to plan ahead. Plan ahead. So those who didn't plan ahead and get a larger Bitcoin position a few weeks ago or a month ago, when I was saying that that's the best thing to do, that's fine, no problem. But let's plan ahead for those who did. What we're going to plan next. The next would be the rotation from Bitcoin to altcoins when the time is right. And the time will be right at some point. And that's where we will make epic gains. And you'll see all over Twitter, I'm sure, and YouTube and things, and everybody saying, altcoins are dead. Get out of altcoins. Get into Bitcoin. Whereas actually, you know, those sort of videos and tweets are very much counterintuitive, really. They mark almost tops in a way. The idea is that you look at a wrecked altcoin chart, you look at an overbought Bitcoin chart, and you look at a Bitcoin dominance chart, and you make up your decision where you're going to rotate from your ever-increasing Bitcoin into your ever-declining altcoin for the ultimate rotation. Because again, we were talking about market caps, we're talking about opportunities here. The altcoin gains will be significant. We're looking at that giant cup in handle and the continuation of the market cap of total market, including and excluding Bitcoin, they both point to a very significant uptrend. We're talking over $1 trillion should enter this market relatively fast. And if you think all of that's going to go into Bitcoin, I doubt it. It seems to be generally, or has been until recently, spread quite evenly across the board. Now it's going more into Bitcoin, as I expected, based on the dominance chart reversing, and now more money's going into Bitcoin anyway. New money's going into Bitcoin. Old money from altcoins is going out into Bitcoin as well. So it's getting topped up, to a larger extent from both sides, old money and new money. But then when the rotation finally kicks in, that's where some massive moves were made. Now, if anyone was around last year, or wasn't around, should I say, or entered the market this year, later on this year, you'd probably be blinded by the amount of altcoins and just think that altcoins just completely outpace Bitcoin, which is not the case. If you've been around in the market for long enough, you'll recognize that actually most of the time all you really ever needed to do was buy Bitcoin, because it goes up slowly and steadily but generally retains its value, whereas altcoins, they pump massively and then they collapse massively, and that's what we use them for. It's almost like leverage trading for spot traders. So all I'm trying to say is that don't get blinded by the tweets about Bitcoin reaching 100, and when you start hearing people talk about 1 million. I mean, these sort of tweets, they begin to mark the top. And I've been around for years trading this market, and you come to recognize the cyclical behavior of people and their attitudes, as well as the charts and what they suggest. And so let's enjoy the gains as they come through, and enjoy the decision that we made about a month back now to go back into Bitcoin and increase our Bitcoin in a larger position and shed some of those altcoins. But the next major trade will be back into altcoins. It will be. But whether we hit 70, 72, 73 or beyond, we don't know. The rotation will make itself a bit more obvious and a bit more clear based on weekly charts. Like I say, weeklies are the best ones, and we can sit back for now and enjoy the decisions that we made and plan for the next decisions that we are going to make, which are going to be the big earners. And then we should realistically expect the bubble to pop, which is why I'm trying to persuade people into moving into stocks and shares and traditional markets. Not straight out and straight in, but prepare yourself to take some of these incredible gains that we've made and that we will make, and put them into traditional markets, so we can sail up some more gains while the bubble has popped and the cryptocurrency market declines, which it will do. I'm not saying it's going to do it immediately, but at some point, probably sooner than you think, it probably will happen. Anyway, like I say, let's enjoy the spectacle that's Bitcoin at the moment, and prepare for the ultimate rotation into altcoins, which, to be honest with you, it could take several weeks for a really big rotation to happen. You're going to have these miniature rotations that we see all the time, but the major rotation, like the sort of thing we saw in January, I mean, that was epic, and that's where we made some epic gains. Rotate into altcoins, rotate into Bitcoin, rotate into altcoins, rotate into Bitcoin. Simple as that, really. I know it sounds very simple, but it kind of is. Anyway, I hope you had a nice evening. Enjoy Bitcoin, and let's plan for the next big gains. Take it easy.